What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Walking Dead universe, and in today's episode we are going to be talking about The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 12. If this is your first time here, bring out that inner Negan and smash that subscribe button. Also, if you subscribe, comment #new so I can personally thank you for joining this family. Now let's break down this episode. I did a breakdown of the preview in my last week's episode, so I'm not going to go over all that in detail, the stuff that I broke down then, but I will go over majority of the episode and the major parts of what happened. This was an action-packed episode. There was so much cramped into this 45 minutes, so we're going to break down as much as we can without dragging on this video. So if I go over things pretty rapidly, that is why. But spoiler warning ahead, if you have not watched this episode and you do not want to be spoiled, you can go check out one of my other episodes for the time being and come back to this after you've seen this episode. If not, then let's begin. As we remember, the Whisperers took the battle to Hilltop. The community tried to make a stand before the Whisperers and the oncoming Walker army that they have. The Whisperers were able to pretty much infiltrate their lines, light Hilltop on fire, and the community really had nowhere to go but to try to escape the attack. Right here we see the Hilltop on fire. Walkers coming in on fire, which even makes it worse because they are just spreading that fire and they have no pain, feel nothing, so to them it is nothing to them. They are just spreading the fire that the Whisperers started. We see Ezekiel right here with the children, trying to get them to escape with him. That was the plan that him and Daryl had made together. So he was trying to get them out before any of them get killed or trapped or lost. But the thing that he realizes is Judith is not with this group. Right here we see Judith going after the walkers that are with her. She is doing what she wanted to do, which is help protect the community, and she is one of the best fighters, but obviously since she is so young in age, they want to protect her as much as possible because she is the future of the world. But as normal, she is going to town on these walkers and happens to kill a Whisperer as well, and that's one of the things that kind of does affect her. She does realize that there are humans in the midst of them as well. Even though they are Whisperers, they are still humans, and she does have a big heart. If you remember the time she talked to Negan and Gamma, that just reveals who she is as a person, and she has a heart for those that are out there that are even lost in this Whisperer community. She feels like they can be people to build a better future as well. Carol took a attack on the top of the wall, Legolas style, just raining down arrows, but you could almost see her face during this time. It's almost like a time of, what have I done? I think she feels like she has a big weight on her shoulders because a lot of this has to do with the decisions that she has made. Umiko was one of the ones on the front lines, and she sees Magna coming in with the Walker horde. She looks like she put some guts on her face and on her body so she could be able to disguise herself. And she walks in with the horde. Smart idea, because she obviously knew where the horde was going, and she was able to stay protected during that time. Good thing she didn't get hit with any of those catapults or arrows and be not recognized, but she was able to make it in probably towards the middle or the back of the horde. So she was able to go without being injured. And right here we have Negan the next morning, smashing some bodies, making sure they're dead. But Alpha reminds him to kill them in the heart and not in the brain, because she wants to replenish the Walker horde that was taken out. I'm sure they took out a good chunk of her horde, and she wants to make sure that she replenishes them with those Hilltop members that were killed. Right here we see Negan. He's out there on horde duty. He's trying to replenish the horde with those walkers that are walking around, or even some that kind of wandered off. New walkers that he finds around the area, so that is the duty that he is on. And he sees Lydia running by, more like limping by. It looks like she was injured in the leg, and he runs on after her, and that is when he runs into Aaron. Aaron automatically just wants to kill him. But Negan is trying to explain something to him. But Aaron wants no part in it. He just wants to kill him because he knows that he has joined Alpha. And he just wants to take him out because that would be the best thing for everybody. Walkers come and stop the conversation. And Negan just runs off because Lydia is who he is going after. Right here he catches up to her. And she is super excited to see him. Until she notices that he throws his Whisperer mask on the ground. And then he takes her and says that he pretty much is looking for her and drags her off. We will get to that later on in the episode. Here we see Gamma wanting to kind of help take care of her nephew. They are not having it at the moment, but she is able to go and kind of soothe him because he is crying, and that is just drawing whispers from around. The good thing about her is she knows when they are coming and they're on their way. And I think it has to do with like the birds and the animals that are there. They kind of start heading that way, and she knows that obviously a horde or group of them is coming. So they all take off running to try to get to safety. Walkers start pouring in around them. Not too many, but a good amount that they need to get somewhere safe. They end up finding this van that is closed and locked. They are able to get the van open, get them inside, but Gamma decides to shut the door on them and draw away the walkers. She starts screaming and running off. It distracts the walkers, the ones that are there, and all the ones that are coming start to follow. She is able to kill those that she got to go with her. But who is there? Mr. Beta. Beta sticks a knife in her stomach and pretty much just guts her. And that is the end of Gamma. I thought they could have done something a little different. I don't know. I thought Gamma could have been a big part of the community. I thought she could have amounted to something for them, but they just decided to end her story right then and there. But I mean, it was kind of cool, kind of a redemption for her. She killed her sister, but she was able to save her nephew, and that's kind of why she decided to draw the walkers off, and that was like her redemption story. She was able to rip off a piece of Beta's mask, revealing who he was. And obviously, if you watched Fear the Walking Dead, you know that it was revealed on that show that he was a famous singer. And the Whisperer that was there is able to see who he was with his half-ripped mask off and say, oh, that's you. Like, I thought your voice sounded familiar, and Beta just decides to slit his throat. So here's kind of the aftermath of the walkers that Beta was surrounded by, that Gamma killed, the Whisperer that was right there as well. And he kind of just stands here and waits for her to turn. So hopefully it wasn't that long of a time period, because he's just kind of standing there. It's kind of a little strange, a little creepy. Then he waits for her to turn. And Alden takes a shot. I'm not sure if it was at Gamma or if he was trying to shoot Beta in the back of the head with the arrow and it just happened to hit Gamma. It almost like it goes over his shoulder and hits her, and he just missed. And again, Beta is able to escape. So I'm hoping he wasn't just trying to kill Gamma and he was trying to shoot for Beta, because then that would be just kind of stupid on his part. Why wouldn't he try to take him out? But that's what happened. And right here you see Eugene fiddling with his equipment. He's trying to salvage his radio, so that's where he was running at the beginning of the episode. He wanted to get out what he can of the radio and hopefully try to fix it. Carol is right there walking by. We see Magna and Yumiko having a conversation. Yumiko kind of goes off on Carol, gives her a cheesecake in the face. And Magna is kind of just like, I made it out alive. That's really all that matters. I'm here. Let's just move on. Not even in our relationship together, but she kind of just wants to do her own thing and put it all behind them and just kind of start fresh as just individuals. And that's kind of the conversation that went on right here. Eugene comes and talks to Carol, kind of trying to comfort her, I guess, in his own way. He's really awkward, but Carol pretty much says, like, hey, go for this girl that's there, go meet her, talking to Stephanie. So that is his plan. He is going to go off and go make sure that he meets Stephanie. It would be probably about 6 or 5 more days if they go a week out. So that is the plan with him. We see Daryl and Rosita just trying to go find the kids. Obviously, the kids are their top priority. They're heading to the rendezvous point that they have set up before, which is obviously smart. You know, the communities are smart by setting this up. And we have Mr. Earl right here, bitten. He's the one that was able to get all the children out. Judith is talking to him, saying that she would take him out if he needs, but he puts this stake right here and just like flops his head on it. It was kind of crazy. So he decided just to take himself out so Judith wouldn't have to. Ezekiel is back at the Hilltop still. It looks like something fell on top of him, probably knocked him out. Jerry and Daryl had to go find him, but he knows where Earl had taken the kids. So they head back to the group and head to go find the kids. Right here, this is when Daryl goes in after all the kids came out of the little cabin, and he goes and finds Judith, making sure that she is good. And he sees Earl down on the ground, which she actually had to kill him as a walker because he must have missed his brain somehow. But he just killed himself but missed his brain, so Judith had to take him out. And this is actually a cool picture right here. Daryl holding her, trying to comforting her, and it almost goes back to the time where Carl had to kill Lori, and Daryl was the one that was kind of there for him after that, when Rick was off doing his thing, trying to talk to him and comfort him, and he's here for Judith as well. That's actually kind of a cool flashback to that. And right here we have Negan and Alpha. This is a conversation. He's letting her know that he has what she is looking for, referring to Lydia, that he has her in a cabin, he has her tied up, and they just go on this conversation. Negan talks about his wife and how she died of cancer. Alpha saying that that's how the world decided she would go out. There's nothing that he could do about it, and it's her time to take Lydia out, that it's her destiny to walk and protect them. Negan is kind of questioning her, but she thinks that she has him convinced on what she has planned. So they head towards the cabin. We see Lydia right here. She has to get out of her chair that she is bound to. She opens up the door and there's nothing there. As Alpha goes and opens up her door, there's nothing in the cabin. She turns around and Negan slits her throat. Negan, obviously, that was what he was planning on doing. He obviously likes Lydia, and he knows that she has no place with the Whisperers. And let's jump to the end, because it's kind of hard. Let's get to the end of it. So we see him carrying a bag with her head in it. There's blood dripping down the bottom. He throws it on the ground in front of some feet, and it's Carol. And we're going to stay on this for a little bit. So Carol tells him, "It took you long enough." And he goes to Negan, and he doesn't really say anything, and that's like the end of the episode. But I want to kind of talk about this a little bit. So obviously, Carol and Negan had a plan. Did it involve Lydia in the beginning? I don't think so. I don't think Lydia knew what was going on, because Carol took her out, and she saw Gamma, and then Gamma took off, and then Lydia took off. I don't think they had all that planned with all three of them. That would just seem a little crazy. It's just the way Lydia has been acting, and saw Negan and saw his mask. It just doesn't seem, and she tried to swing on him with her staff. It just doesn't seem like she was part of the whole loop. Obviously, that was what Negan was trying to explain to Aaron before he killed him, but he didn't need to explain anything because Aaron had to fight off the walkers and Negan was able to just run off. But obviously, Carol is the one who let Negan out. And before this, they've never had any interaction together. They've never had any conversations. So it makes sense for them to go with this and for them to plan it, because in reality, since they've never talked, no one really knew that it would be them unless you just had a feeling. But they have no conversation before, they had no interaction before, and that was the best person for them to use to go after Alpha. So they had it all planned. Negan infiltrated the Whisperers, and he was able to take out the Queen. Now what is next? What is going to happen after this? What is going to happen in the next episode? Well, nothing with this storyline that we know of, because the next episode is Michonne's last episode. So will we get a continuation on this story? We might. I don't see it happening, but I think it's going to focus on Michonne, which will finally bring her story to an end, and then we could finish off with the episode after that, which is Look at the Flowers, which obviously is referring to Carol. So there's so much going on after this. I'm glad for Michonne's episode to finally come up, and we could finally see what is in store for her and how her story will end or continue on after that. But I'll give my thoughts on a different video on what I think is to come next for Negan and Carol, what is to come next for Michonne, and on the stoppage of filming and production for The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. I'll give my thoughts on that in another video as well. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for those that support me week and week and comment down below. I enjoy having those conversations with you guys, just going back and forth in the comments. So let me know what you think down below. What is to come for Carol and Negan, and how are the communities going to take what they did to Alpha? Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you all in that next video.